Welcome to another video, this time talking about my personal favorite healer and a very popular choice when looking at your feedback, the White Mage. While I can always repeat myself that this game has an exceptional balancing, that is even more true on the healer department. Only the difficulty level is the main distinctive factor that I feel to be the main difference for each healer compared to its competition. Nonetheless, you can and will clear all sorts of content with any job, and remember, two different healers are always the best combination to keep your party in battle. Still, I would think that the White Mage offers the most powerful healing output when it comes to power healing, but let me explain the meaning of it shortly. Other than in certain other MMOs, healing in Final Fantasy XIV takes a much deeper focus on managing your MP and timing the correct heals into the right damaging windows, instead of spamming your most powerful heal whenever you can. But of course, this means you will still encounter situations where a bunch of HPS is required to keep your party alive, or recover it before the next big attack is hitting. And this section is called power healing, where the White Mage definitely excels at. The reason for this mainly comes from the fact that it has so many GCD heals that actively need to be cast, while the set of OGCD heals round up your kit perfectly. Which is also highlighted by the usefulness of HOTS, healing over time effects, that can help your party to efficiently heal up to a point that they survive the next attack or in a way that is supporting your other healing tools very nicely. I really love to be able to push up the party all by myself without any struggle, and above that, healing feels much more natural and like the White Mage has always existed with these skills, not doing anything else. When you played all healers, you will definitely know what I mean. Coming to the next wonderful aspect of the White Mage, namely its Lily system. Yeah, I know that many jobs have access to wonderful and unique mechanics and traits that let them stand out against their competition. But nothing, especially not on the healer side of things, can compete with the Lily system the White Mage has to offer. Not only providing a passive way of getting access to MP-free spells, but above that, they are powerful, can be used while moving, and also unlock access to one of the strongest damaging spells this game has to offer in the form of Afflatus Misery. But let me explain all of this a bit more. Upon entering combat, you're constantly and passively, so without doing anything except remaining in combat, generating Lily stacks, and each stack can be used for either an AoE heal or single target heal, both being very strong, free of MP costs, and can be used while moving. And if you have used 3 of these lilies, Afflatus Misery is triggered, causing a devastating 900 potency attack to the target and enemies around it, with a slightly decreased potency. And design-wise, this perfectly fits to the Enochian idea of the Black Mage, where stacks for Foul or Xenoglossy are generated passively. And I really like that idea to both jobs a lot, and being part of the healer where the offensive side of things can easily get boring very quickly, this is an awesome combination to help you out with healing while also contributing with damage. This and many other reasons lead to the fact that the White Mage is the obvious and my ultimate recommendation for healing beginners, because of simply introducing them to overall scheme and nature of that role's responsibility, while still not overcomplicating things to create uniqueness and special job heritage, like you may feel on the Astrologian or Schola. Above that, the general learning curve is super comfortable, and even the fact that dealing damage as a healer is a thing in Final Fantasy XIV can easily be acknowledged by the massive damage output the White Mage is providing, especially when tools like your Lily system contribute offensively as well. So if anybody asks me with which healer job they should start to learn healing in its most natural and straightforward form, with a solid learning curve and a rewarding role presentation, nothing leads elsewhere than towards the White Mage. That of course is also being highlighted by the fact that you can start as a Conjurer when creating your character, introducing you into Eorzea, healing, and one of the best jobs this game has to offer. And if you think that this story ends beyond borders of high-end raiding or everything that is attached to duties, you're mistaken, my friend. I just recently got back into Bozja, which is the recent expansion's relic weapon and armor content, featuring the most powerful weapon in Shadowbringers late game, at least after waiting some more weeks to come. I figured out that the White Mage is not only a super efficient healer and a caretaker of all sorts of emergencies, but also one of the strongest damaging jobs around, due to this insanely powerful 80% damage boost to healer damage. I know, it works for Scholar and Astrologian in the same way, but most of their raid DPS comes from also supporting their team offensively. The White Mage on the other hand keeps that throughput to itself, and all of his DPS is increased by 80%, means a lot. You can easily pull stuff together and blast it with Holy. Yes, our fifth reason, and the one spell that even when everything I mentioned above would be removed from the White Mage's access, this spell alone would grant me confidence in still playing the White Mage as my most favorite healer job. But look for yourself.
Stuff here. That's really, really useful. And let's see the damage. Yeah. That's insane. Oh, this is a good spot for doing AoE damage again. Okay, a Black Mage prepared this as well, I see. Wow, the damage is just insane.
The main reason why this spell can easily be described as the most powerful spell this game has to offer is the fact that it offers offensive and defensive traits in one blow, by stunning all enemies hit by 4 seconds, then 3 seconds and then 2 seconds, which leads to a super powerful defensive boost, as your tank won't take damage during that time and you have even more time to blast in this powerful AoE attack. That definitely seeks for competition on its offensive side of things as well, being amplified by your increased casting speed with presence of mind or highlighted by a size that works kinda in a similar way, pushing out healing and damage in one single blow, costing no MP and being an OGCD. And yes, if you're talking about raw numbers, Astrologian and Scholar may be as strong as the White Mage in dungeons, but this holy stun effect is not being emphasized on with raw data, and above that, playing the White Mage in dungeons feels super satisfying, and one argument by itself to level up this job for enjoying all the daily and open world content while also providing the best healer learning curve in all sorts of high-end raiding. But of course, this also has one or two downsides. First and foremost, the White Mage is a kinda stationary healer, which means your offensive cast sequence requires you to stand still and hard cast Glare, while Scholar and Astrologian have some tools to switch into movement easily. And apart from your Lily spells, your Dot Dia or using Regen, standing still is required for nearly all of the White Mage spells arsenal. But with keen slide casting and boss knowledge, this can easily be compensated, leading back into the positive aspects of this job. Above that, and when doing some raids over and over again, the White Mage can feel a bit boring, compared to always being busy as Astrologian or Scholar. Especially when you know what the content is demanding and have a very good communication with your co-healer. Oftenly, the White Mage's healing tools are kept back for power healing phases due to the fact that it needs to be actively used, intercepting your offensive power. While Scholar and Astrologian can accomplish this job pure passively, and without sacrificing any form of damage. But to be honest, swapping one Glare against a Medica 2 from time to time won't cause your damaging power to become pale at any moment. That means not being so busy is definitely more attached to a personal taste and how you like the design of a job, as you're able to focus more on mechanics and other relevant things the encounter may demand. So this is definitely a subjective trait you need to know for yourself. If you want the most busy, flexible and maybe strongest healer this game has to offer, before Endwalker of course, your choice may lead to the Astrologian then. But if you're looking for the prime example, the shining star of the roster, White Mage it is, my friend. So check out the many White Mage guides on this channel or visit Salted Final Fantasy XIV for info and guides about all jobs made by the best players around. So thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy and keep loving Final Fantasy.